hate to break the fishing news up your Chuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
I'm talking over the intro there.
Producer / host.
I potted you guys down, so the listener probably didn't. Are we potted back up? Yeah, look, the lines are moving. Are they moving when I talk? I don't know.
We were very much on topic for a sports podcast there briefly, Jay. I don't remember Commonwealth being that fucked up on the concourse when it was busy when we were little kids.
Well, my mandate when I was a little kid wasn't to take a leak and get a beer. My mandate was to like get candy and get back to my seat so I can see the halftime show.
But I remember like you'd leave with a few minutes left in the quarter and come back. Like you played it.
I think so, yeah.
Run into the middle of the concourse with a debit card, waving it in the air, hoping somebody can.
So to clarify, by fucked up, you mean that it's just always busy, always packed, always lined up?
Yeah, like we're talking about whether the challenges the Elks face going forward. And somebody was saying they need a new stadium. And I'm like, I don't know if that's the answer. Like they're so expensive. And Jay said, but when they're busy, the concourse is so fucked up you can't get service.
Which I don't know if that's an issue for them or not. Because what's considered a successful CFL game?
Back in the
30,000. That's probably in terms of league wide. That's probably considered strong. Because like, how big's the Mosaic Field and how big is Investor Group?
The new
field?
ones are like 35,000.
Yeah,
seats.
Like that's the wheelhouse. We have like a 60,000 person barn. That if there is 60,000 people, as we learned at the Heritage Classic, wow. Or as we learned, Women's World Cup in 2015.
Or when the men's did their qualifying. Ice Tekka.
Oh, Ice Tekka.
Yeah.
And as we're going to learn when Metallica's here for 2 shows.
When are they here?
And Luke
This
Combs
weekend.
when he was here.
Don't you just leave it until we try to win like the World Track and Field 2042 and they're just like, we need a new stadium. And then you're the Elks. You're like, yeah, now I'm in.
Oh, it'd be a shame to, yeah. It's
like, wait for another one of those gigantic federal money.
It's too big of a stay. Yeah, you're right. That's like you sneak it in.
Yeah.
You slide it into the budget.
You're like, oh, we're going to get the World Cup stadium in Edmonton.
Yeah.
I will say though, like the Riverhawks, wildly successful, or maybe the Stingers are a better example. Stingers are wildly successful, right?
Yeah.
They're selling out playoff games.
But 6,000, 7 gets.
Can you imagine if the Stingers played at Rogers? They would not be viewed as the success story that they are.
Yeah.
So the argument for the Elks would be, okay, if you can insert, maybe it's even something that's already kind of done, but then that's the stadium next to Commonwealth, like that Clark Field or whatever. So maybe it wouldn't work. But if you put the Elks in a 15,000 seat stadium and it was full every game and rocking, does the perception of them change?
Yes.
But is the construction of that new stadium with all its carrying costs, with the construction cost of 2024, everything's so crazy. I think the thing to do is stay in the one you're in right now for $1 a year because it's got like a crazy low lease after COVID shit.
Yeah. It's just, it's a tough room to fill.
We know everything. Now we'll tell the guy how to run his construction business. Okay. Would you sell it for $800 million? Here's what you got to do.
Yep.
Build roads.
You don't screw down floors with nails. You screw them down with screws, right, Charles?
So I got a question though, because it obviously was announced that we have a new owner.
Yeah.
And the first thing I saw was a name change. We kind of just
there is no name change,
but that it was proposed.
He said no deal.
Why did that even come out?
He didn't fully say no deal.
Oh, I thought he was leading the charge. Oh, okay.
He made it seem like it's lower on the priority list. I think
they said, "Are you going to change the name?" And he said, "No."
I think improving the economics is priority one.
Yeah. We got a trade in the NHL.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's enough Elks talk. Anyways, go ahead.
Patrick Laine.
2?
Oh, okay.
The oil?
No. Let's think this through.
The oil.
Let's think this through.
Score.
Let's think
Elliot Friedman reporting there's traction between the Blue Jackets and blank on the deal. Jay?
I don't know. Where would Laine? Well, let's talk this through. Where would be a good home for Laine? Chicago.
And keep in mind, he has $8.5 million for 2 more years. And there are not a lot of teams that could just
But Columbus would be probably willing to eat some.
Maybe willing to eat some, correct.
St. Louis.
Carolina.
That would be hilarious. No.
But I'm thinking right.
You're thinking right.
Nashville?
Dubas?
Not Dubas. Not Nashville. They have no more money.
How am I thinking right with Carolina?
Right conference?
Tampa?
No, they don't have the money.
Florida doesn't have money.
Doesn't have money.
Hartford?
Yep.
That's Carolina.
Right colors, right main color, right
Florida?
conference.
Devils.
No, come on. There's only one other red. There are two other red teams in the East now.
Detroit?
No, there's a lot of red teams.
I'm like, wait a minute, what?
I thought one of you guys was going to step up and nail it.
We're really, really smart here.
Here, the other red Canadian team in the Eastern Conference.
Habs?
There you go, the Habs.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Patrick Laine to the Habs, according to Elliot.
I mean,
Friedman.
when
Ever
you
since the
consider-
loss of
when you say
Kotkaniemi.
red team, I think more as the Habs of being blue, white, and red. Red being not the number one color on that list.
If you
Well, it
couldn't
is
handle the
Rouge
pressure,
Blanc et Bleu or whatever, or Rouge Bleu et Blanc.
if you can't handle the pressure of Columbus, welcome to Montreal, Patrick. It's 1,000x worse.
Yeah, actually, that is a good point.
He's got Yoel Armia there to
Hang on.
protect him finish wise.
That's fair. Anyways,
Patrick Laine is a good guy though to take a chance on, man. There's a lot of upside. Not too many people bring his resume to the
He
table.
just can't stay healthy.
He always wears those cool fits.
I do
Maybe
like
we'll
now
know.
that this podcast is your prep for 1440. So you're like in on the hockey talk on you because you're like, I need to be. I'm
I
going
need
to
to
an
know
hour
what's
of
up.
or 2
I
hours
need
of
to
AM radio.
know. I get there. I don't know anything. It's embarrassing.
Patrick
So it's
Laine.
not official. It's just
Not
a lot of smoke.
when I think of like head
What do you think
case
the
hockey
return
players
is?
right now, Laine's top of that list.
Who do they have to get rid
Dubois.
of?
Yeah, him too.
Carey Price's contract? No, because he's LTIR.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Is Carey Price ever going to grace us with one more period, or is he donezo?
He might be Dunzo.
Oh, yeah, he's done so. I do know truth.
Damn, that's crazy.
What's their albatross?
Josh Anderson.
Oh, back home.
Josh Anderson back to Columbus for Patrick Laine. Or just Laine at 50% retained for a 7th round pick.
7th?
Something shitty, yeah.
Is Columbus just fucked ever since they got Johnny Gugu in? Like, it doesn't seem like anything's working. Laine was supposed to be their dude. He's out.
Yeah, things really don't work out that well in Columbus.
Thank God that air conditioning just shut off.
That
Yeah, it was
I was wondering how I was going to do this for the next 4
Yeah, she chilly.
I
She chilly.
always had to bring a hoodie to work now. No matter how hot it is outside, it is freezing in this room. There is a
What if
thermostat,
there's a thermostat we could play with?
but it never works that well.
I think you need a degree of some
It's about
variety
knowing
to
which
operate
zone
it.
it's on because it's like the one closest to here doesn't control it, but the one over there potentially does.
Oh yeah, it's like the wrong room.
No one knows how it works, Chalmers. It's magic.
It is.
Like meteorology.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, before we really get into things on today's show, I need to let you know today's episode is brought to you by A&W and MS Canada. Burgers to Beat MS Day is back, celebrating its 16th year on August 22nd. That's this Thursday, by the way, and I'll be live on location at the Windermere A&W to be doing ON every day.
3 burgers for that episode?
We'll see. Every teen burger sold on Burgers to Beat MS Day, or for every burger sold, $2 will be donated to MS Canada in the lead up to the 22nd. So in the next few days, you can support Burgers to Beat MS by rounding up your bill with any purchase at an A&W, donating online at burgerstobeatms.ca, or donating through the A&W app or your favorite delivery app. Burgers to Beat MS Day coming back on August 22nd.
And make sure you get a root beer.
Root beer.
Root beer.
It's the one place where like I always get a Diet Coke fountain drink with every burger and everything I ever get. They have root beer everywhere else.
Yep.
A&W is the only place where I feel weird not getting one.
It's
And no
different.
ice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no ice.
ice. But it comes cold. It's nice. It's the A&W like fountain root beer is so elite. It's insane.
But no ice. If you take it in the car, it's my only beef because A&W is ideal for road trips. No ice in the cup, it's hard.
A&W is synonymous with road trips.
It's the play.
Yeah.
Speaking of road trips, Chalmers, you're back from vacation.
I am. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Been a minute.
It's been a long time and it was awesome. I'm excited to be back home and just be like back in a routine.
Where'd you go?
So it started by going to Pigeon Lake for the Pigeon Lake Music Festival, which is always a great time. We got to see Trooper.
Wow.
They were good.
Yep.
It was a good shot. It was a good time. But then right when we got home the next morning, we drove straight to Montana. And we went to a little place called Blaine Lake. That lake is about the size of, I don't know if you know, Jackfish Lake. It's not a huge lake, but it's right next to Flathead Lake,
Which is massive.
And so we were going to a cabin. We were going to stay there with two other families. And we just wanted to make sure we had some extra bedding because it seemed like we were 2 beds short. So I rented a tent trailer, but like a hard top tent trailer.
Okay.
What's the closest place to rent it? Kalispell. So I search Kalispell Rentals. I go on RVZ. I rent this thing.
Whoa, wait,
$60
what?
a day.
RVZ?
RVZ.
That's an RV rental app?
I know.
Yeah, like
100 out of 100 for name.
Yeah.
RVZ genius.
I couldn't agree more.
Well done, gang.
So I was like, yeah, there's no chance I'm not renting from RVZ because of this cool name. I go through the whole rental process. I know Kalispell's about 10 minutes away. This is going to be great. I rent it. I am driving to Montana, which is a 7-hour drive, and I'm getting ready to pick up the RV. And I text the guy like, hey man, can you send me your address so I can come pick it up? He sends me the address. It's in Missoula, Montana, which is 2 hours further south, making my drive now 7 hours there, 2 more hours to pick up the trailer, and 2 hours back.
That's not RVZ.
It was
The
not
location
RVZ.
settings need to be a little.
Imagine
So
Tinder was
I
that
look on the
imprecise.
thing and I'm like, what did I do wrong? Because it said Kalispell. Well, I double checked it, and I don't think I did anything wrong. I didn't go RVZ had Kalispell in there or like within 100 miles. And
Tell them you got location catfish. See what they do.
I somewhat did, and then I was like, dude, will you just like deliver this thing for a price? And he's like, well, I'll probably charge you like $120 an hour of driving. Now, not only do I have to go pick this thing up and bring it to my site, but I've got to return it. And if I do it on the Sunday, 10 days later, that's an 11-hour drive home. And I was just like, so this guy's going to try to charge me an hour or 120 per way, like $1,000 almost
To drive.
and the thing wasn't even that much to rent. So I just sucked it up. The good thing about that drive is a couple casinos on the way.
Made the whole price
Every
back.
gas station's a casino.
So I ended up losing $1,000 on the drive down.
So I do
$9,000.
I do the drive, whatever. I suck it up. We have a great time. This place is like one of the nicest lakes I've ever been. And then we came home, and then I slept in my bed for one night. And JR and I, with 6 other guys, we drove to Kimberley, 7 hours west this time. And we went to Kimberley for 5 days.
Are you driving all this or are you passenger?
So
You
I
all the way
drove all the way to Montana and back. And then when JR and our other friend picked me up, I decided to take the first leg of the drive and then just kind of never relinquished. I don't know really what I don't know, just kept going. But never golfed in Kimberley, played Trickle Creek, we played Shadow Mountain, we played Wild Stone, and we played St. Eugene's. And it's a great time. We basically, Kimberley, when you walk out the door, the only other people you see in this whole town are groups of golf trips.
It is a golf trip mecca.
It doesn't really have like the most nightlife or anything, but it's like just we walk outside and we're getting picked up for our tee time. Look left. There's a group of 8 guys with golf clubs standing outside of their house. Look right. There's another one. You know, you go to the restaurant afterwards and it's just literally groups of guys on golf trips. And so we do a thing every year. We have 2-man teams. It's a trophy. It's handicapped. And this year, for the second year in a row, JR's team and I, well, you won it for the third year in a row, but this is only the second year in a row that me and my partner have been there, found ourselves in the final against JR and his partner.
Electric match.
Who's your partner?
My buddy at T-Fence.
Oh boy.
At defense. So,
Heart of a lion. He doesn't
Yeah.
go down unless he's murdered.
and so like we play these handicaps and, you know,
What's defense's
me and
handicap?
JR have been, well, that defense
8?
is a low 8
He's an 8.
and I'm playing at a 7.
executive.
Consistent. He's just automatic off the tee.
He's
Somehow,
executive.
the
Plays 200 times a year.
guy that's won 2 junior club championships, has 2 hole-in-ones. Him and I have always been the exact same handicap. All of a sudden, somewhere out of the blue, we got ourselves an 11 handicap over here.
I was a 10 last year.
Somehow, yeah.
I
But
played in it as a 10 last year.
Tyler.
And the year before that. And
we
the year
get to the
before that.
last hole.
Oh, no.
We've got to win this hole.
Whoa,
to tie
Chalmers!
it.
I think you got to get.
Oh, you want to break it all down?
Well, but like you got to give yourself some props here. We're 4 up through 5.
they are
It
4
is
up through 5.
foot
Daddy
is-
went to work or
Foot
what?
is on the throttle.
The vibes on our cart are now like, let's just try to not embarrass ourselves here. And we scrappy Coco back up.
You scrappy go,
And
yeah.
he-
Just lay the boots. You were playing good. Your partner started showing up, and he gets strokes
Who's your
galore.
partner, Charles?
Andy Zylstra.
Oh boy.
And they actually got it to 1 up.
So we were one up at like 14.
So you won like 6 of the next 9 holes.
It was a beating, but it was like every whole stroke. And that guy, he broke his driver the day before, which was a blessing, not a curse. And he's hitting 4 irons off the tee, piped like 210, 220 every goddamn time.
Showing up to the last round, he's broken his driver. We don't have a driver for him. His was like an inch longer. He's a very tall person. He doesn't want to use any of ours. It doesn't feel right. Also, the day before, we played in torrential rain for the round of the day. So my rangefinder, I didn't have good rangefinder maintenance, was completely condensated inside. Like you couldn't even see through it. So we're down a rangefinder for our group. We're down his driver. And now we're down 4 after 5. And I was just like, where's the double Ryan?
This is when heroes are made.
Where is
You're
the
describing
double?
to me a montage.
It was
So after 5,
montage.
A 4-hole lead is a no.
after 5, after the 5th hole on this golf course that we're playing is the Snack Shack. Double Ryan Coke. Let's go. 2 of them. I get them in me. And we persist to go 6, win 6 of the next 9.
Popeye muscles.
So now we're like and now it's going back and forth. We're up 1, tied.
It's like
they're up 1
like
again.
you
We
have
tie
to
it.
birdie or net birdie to win holes.
At
It
this
was
point,
that fucking tight.
It was tight. So we get on to 17.
2-man best ball?
Yeah. No.
Best
It's not even
net
best ball. It's best net score.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So we get on to 17 and
Beautiful hole.
but we make a mistake and now we're down 1. So we got 1 hole.
But what was the mistake? So
It's a putting
fucking
mistake.
Captain 4 iron bomb. Like this is an amazing, beautiful hole. It's like 300-foot elevated tee. It seems like big long bridge in the background. The hole's like 600 yards. And Chalmers and I were like, I'm like, regardless, we made a pact. We're ripping driver, even though it gets a little tight. So we both agree to rip driver. Captain 4 iron goes up, hits his 4 iron perfectly like 210. I thankfully hit one down the middle. Chalmers puts one in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
My partner is OKOT, but now it's isolated between me and Mr. 4 iron. So Mr. 4 iron, what does he go next? 4 iron. Puts it in a good spot. I go, I'm like, there's no fucking way after like hitting one like 309 million yards off this elevated tee. It is still 300 yards into this green. I lay up as well. And me and 4 iron, Captain 4 iron are like, within like 20 yards of each other. And I'm just like, I need him to hit one fat. I fucking need one to hit him fat. So what does he do? He hits one a little fat.
Yeah.
So he's about 15, 20 yards short of the green, which is still fine because he strokes on this hole. Very important fact. And I do not. I go and I thought I hit a good shot, little short of the green, but like by like 3 feet short of the green, and what's in front of my ball is like this giant long patch of grass, but it's fringe all around it except for that patch.
Fescue?
So no, it's just random tar.
It was like the dude just lifted up the mower blades.
Yeah. So I have to chip. Mr. 4 iron puts his approach, like thins it maybe, I don't know, 30 feet past the green. And I chip it to give me range, thankfully. So I'm in for par. All he has to do is 3-putt.
No, he has to 2-putt.
Oh, he has to 2-putt.
He 2-putts and we
to tie. 2-putt to tie. And he 3-putted.
Wow.
So they
Mr.
go
4 iron,
one
who was clutch, had a couple gaffes on his stroke hole.
So now we get to the 18th and we're 1 down. Mr. 4 iron strokes.
Also,
And guess who else strokes? With the 4th hardest hole. Because he gets 4 strokes on me. Him being an 11, me being a 7. This is the one in question. Does he deserve it? Does he not? I don't even think he deserves to be an over a 10. But this is the gift. This is the gift he's getting. I have to birdie. There's just no choice. I have to birdie. He has to par. Or like, that's not even good enough. Like,
I'm just imagining a montage in your brain, Chalmers. You as an 8-year-old hitting balls, an eagle flying overhead, you being given a driver for your birthday. It all adds up to this. Go ahead.
I had the best drive of the day.
Yes.
Right down the middle.
You did. And you did. I didn't even think it was a driver hole. I thought you were fucked.
Champion.
Because someone in the group in front of me is like, oh, 250 and you're through the fairway and fucked.
But you can fade it around. You can fade it around to a little opening.
Oh.
Champion.
So I get to 154. I've been striking them well. I hit a beautiful 9 iron. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, if this is the number, this is it. Like I'm gonna do exactly what I needed to do. And it lands like 30 feet short. And I'm like, we're dead. So the rest writes itself.
Constantino Roca
They
from the
win.
Valley of Death.
So if I didn't have the stroke on that hole, Charles, we still would have won the match
Yeah, I don't think so.
because I made bogey.
But I made par. That means we win.
You didn't make par.
Yes, I did. I 2-putted. Are you nuts?
I thought you said you were 30 feet short of the green.
No, 30 feet short of the hole. I put it on and then I 2-putt and he bogeys. And
That was a good
so
bogey.
like with that stroke, it's in that par. We tie the
It
hole.
was a
There's
clutch
still one
putt
up.
I made. I made like a 7-footer to win. For that.
It's what the handicap system is designed for this. But for 2 years, I've been playing a golf course. I've been under construction. I've been able to put in a single score.
Yeah, your cap would probably go down.
Probably go up. You know it. Yeah, he's going to Hawaii shooting 110 and
103.
put every
I shot
one of
a
these
103.
things in there. So his cap's ballooning. It's a thing, Tyler.
I don't.
It's like Chumgate 2.0.
I
It's getting a
don't
little
know,
bit
which
ridiculous.
actually is funny. Chumgate got brought up on the last night, which is great.
We fought again.
Shout out Jonas, who's a listener who wanted to bring up Chumgate. That was great.
It rekindled the fight, and the fight was loud.
Well, and now you'll be happy to know as I put in my scores from this weekend, I'm now down to a 10.
Oh, look at that! What timing? Am I right?
But we froze the handicap, so I followed the rules.
It's just well.
I'm finding my game right in time for the ON Open.
That's the good news.
So screw these trophy chasers that are coming and stacking their squads. We're bringing it.
Speaking of the Oilers Nation Open, head to nationgear.ca now if you want to get one of the final teams that's up and available, or if you and a friend want to golf with the three of us, and they'll be arguing about handicaps the whole day. But
No, we won't.
No, because now we're on the same team.
United front. Okay, yeah, fair. The leading bid right now is at $1,050. All proceeds going towards Gregor's grad. So we've gotten 3 bids in already.
Nice.
There's going to be a bid off between these two sides.
It's coming down to the wire. Yeah.
Yeah, there is still the end time is this Friday, actually, the 23rd. That's this Friday.
If it helps, the golf that I watched, JR and I play, and the other 2 guys in our group, we're not going to discount them.
It was a good match.
They played well. It was great. But the golf that we played in that last round, and even all weekend, we are peaking.
That was the fuck, and I could have been.
And Tyler,
Just so
I saw
many
that
dumb
somebody was
mistakes.
about 6 inches from a hole-in-one this weekend.
Oh, man, that was fuck. I thought I had it too because it was like downhill right at it. And I hit it and it was a little shadowy because we teed off at night. So I hit it and it's going. You can kind of see some shadows on the green. I'm like, fuck, that's right at it. And it bounces. And then Amber says she heard it hit something. And I didn't because I was just not focused on that.
Yeah.
So we were debating the whole time. Did it hit and just stick that far? Or did it actually hit and hit the hole and bounce out? We don't know. I don't know. Because the
You'll never
guy,
know. So here,
the guy we were playing with also, he was like, I heard something. And I was like, I don't think I heard anything. But either way, I was like 6 inches out.
so me and another guy, 215-yard par 3, and it's like really far, raised green. We hit 2 shots and we see them bounce towards a hole and we don't know where they are.
Yeah.
We get up there and we're both probably about 5-6 feet away. And I'm just like, in my mind, I think I might have invented the next thing for golf courses that they need. The GPS in the golf carts is great.
Sure.
Everything that to do with golf course management is all great. But you know what they're missing? Every single green should have a camera up in a tree, multiple angles on the green. It then tapes, it knows that you're coming through and it tapes your approach shots. I clearly know you're not going to be able to see it on the GPS monitor as it's happening, but the minute the ball hits and it senses that, you can go back and you can go to the camera. Therefore, you could always see, no matter where you are or what kind of shot or where the green is, the approach shot. You can get to see how it comes in, how it lands, how it spins. It's the one thing that, as a golfer, you never really get to see. You've probably waited for a friend who's lost a ball in the trees and, you're just like, let's hurry, let's get up to the green. And you watch that ball come in. It's electric. It's like the only time you really get to see that, right?
Yeah.
Other than watching the PGA Tour and watching the balls come in. You never get to see your own. Well, those cameras in those trees can provide you with that aspect to seeing every single one of your approach shots.
That would be very expensive.
Not really.
Not really.
18
Cameras,
cameras?
I think, are cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the software to be able to, that's a lot. Think about how many shots that is, and that's data, right? You have to save that shot. And it's got to go into a system.
It's no more than 18 security cameras.
Right. So you can either then take it and you can share the shot to yourself, or if it's a nothing shot, you just know it's going to time out in like 30 minutes.
And if it's a hole in one, you got to pay 10 grand for the footage. You're like, fuck.
Because like who wouldn't want to see their hole in one go in?
For 10G?
Right. And the reason that this is another thing was our course is under construction right now, meaning that we have some holes that are closed in it. To make up for it, we've taken some long par fives and we've made really nice temps in them to make 2 par threes in 1 par 5. Okay. So you play 6A, 6B, 7A, 7B, all about 140 yard shots, except for one, maybe it's about
4 par threes?
Four par threes. So our course, that's why we can't put scores in, because our par right now is like 65 or 67. Yeah. We've been discussing all year, if you hit a hole in one on one of these holes, does it count?
Yes.
Why wouldn't it?
So some people will say, because it's like if you go and you play a par 3 golf course, you're playing 9 straight par 3s, meaning you're having 9 opportunities.
Yeah, that wouldn't count.
Why? Hole in one's a hole in one.
So this is like 4 of those opportunities back to back to back.
Okay. So you're bound to get one.
My argument is,
you're just going to get one.
No, you're not. Well, we've been close, and you know it.
Well, I don't.
We have a buddy that dunked one, and so there's
who did it?
His name's Kristen Stevenson. You don't know him. He's a friend of At T Fence.
I feel like it counts.
Did you?
I think so.
No one's. Does he want it to be real?
He. For him, there's two trains of thought here. I mean, of course he wants it to be real. Who doesn't want it to be real? You got on the right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay. So he doesn't really, to our group chat, he went, just jarred one on 7B. To his credit, not throwing out the hole in one right away, because immediately you could be then like, well, is it though? And then all chaos starts. My opinion is he didn't ask to play 4 par 4s in a row. That's what our par 3s in a row. He didn't go to Dragon's Head looking for this.
Nope.
But what he did was he played a golf course. And he hit from a tee box to a green. In my opinion, that's a hole in one.
It's a hole in one, but you'll always know deep down that it's not quite as.
You have to tell the story.
What about the fall?
I got a hole in one, but
what about if you're playing on temps in the fall? Those don't count, right? Those hole in ones.
Because the green's not the same.
But these temps are super nice.
Yes, but
if you hold out on a temp from like 100 and however many yards away, 40.
I don't know,
Tyler. I think
it's the same thing as like if you like.
So yes, but
did Royal Troon send you here, Tyler, on behalf of the grand old game?
But you have to. You can say you got a hole in one, but you have to put the caveat.
Yeah,
but it was on a temp.
It has to come with the story, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you tell a story of getting a hole in one, you would say the whole story anyways, like where you were, what you did kind of thing. So it's
the accomplishment of hitting the 140 yard shot from a tee box to a hole and sinking it. It's there. It's all there. But it's the 4th of the par 3s as well. So you've just hit that shot.
So your probability to make one has gone through the roof.
1 in 1.
It's coin flip at that point. Yeah.
Should be a par 1.
Par 1.
You better fucking sing.
I love just competing at golf. I'm looking so much forward to the ON tournament, because this one golf trip that we go on is really, especially because of all the side games at our golf course, it's just kind of finicky with the way the course is playing. That golf trip was an opportunity to compete, and there's nothing that I do recreationally anymore other than like men's league hockey. It doesn't even do it for me anymore. It's just like, I don't know, too old. But like golf will always have that competitive thing where like
that's why old people play it,
always
man.
feels the same.
It
always feels the same. Doesn't matter how old you get, it still feels like if you're playing junior in a club when you're 14, or if you're playing in a junior club championship when you're 16, or if you're playing in a men's club championship when you're 30. It's always the same. And that's what I love about golf. There's my love letter to golf.
Oilers Nation Open coming up in under 2 weeks out of the Millwoods Golf Course.
It's coming fast.
Private club conditions for under $100. One of the top pro shops in the city as well. And home of the Oilers Nation Open, brought to you by Star Mechanical and Oodle Noodle, all in support of Gregor's Grad. So if you want to play with us and you want to bid, again, it all goes towards Gregor's Grad. And we're going to have a great time out at the Millwoods Golf Course on August 30th.
Knock on wood, forecast is trending nicely.
Nice. I went golfing in the mountains this weekend, which was fun. but it was just Amber and I. So it was like, okay, we're running the risk. We're getting paired up both days. Oh, you never know, right? So the first day we get there and we're on the range, and they had given me at this course the other guy's cart. So he was in mine. So I saw him drive up. I was like, okay, we're good. Like, it was another couple. They were both same skill range as Amber and I. So I was like, perfect. That lined up well. The next day they're like, oh, by the way, you're paired up with a single. And I was like, okay, like, again, never know quite what you're getting, but usually a guy who's playing Silvertip as a single, like, should be a pretty good golfer. We're in the pro shop and there's this guy in there wearing like sweatpants and a gray hoodie.
Oh no.
And he's like talking to the guy, and he goes, oh, how much are a case of balls here? And the guy in the pro shop's like, oh, they're $75. He goes, if I were to buy those, could you maybe for no extra charge give me the ones with your logo on it? And the guy in the pro shop was like, yeah, all of them come with our logo on it. It's $75. And this guy leans over and goes, so I'm a guy who deals with only cash. So maybe what kind of price can you give me? It's like a 20-year-old kid standing there. He's like, $75, man. Like, I can't do anything for you. And I walked out to Amber. She was outside because she was grabbing us coffee.
Did you guys think about leaving?
And I was like, Amber, this might be a really, really long day. I was like, if we're paired up with that guy, like, he's wearing sweatpants. Like, they might not even let him on the course. I don't know.
Or maybe he's so good he doesn't care.
It's right, like Tin Cup.
Ended up getting paired up with this other guy who was an Oilers fan from Dauphin, Manitoba.
Dauphin, shout out Dauphin.
Yeah, so he drove out from Dauphin. He was like in town for a wedding, and he was like an absolute stick. He shot a 74 and was like, I left some strokes out there. And I was like, God damn it. So he made me feel terrible about my game, but huge risk whenever you get paired up in situations like that. And we like borderline hit the lottery. Like, we got along with the last guy so well, we went and got like dinner together after.
We had a buddy who got paired up and he just left.
Yep. Really?
Yeah, he was with his cousin and they got paired up with a twosome. He's like, you know what? Let's go to the lake. And they left.
Oh my God.
It's 4 hours. If you don't like the person, like, it can ruin everything.
Yeah. Yeah, like Amber and I've gotten paired up before with, the worst one is always the guy who never stops looking for balls. I've gotten that a handful of times in my life where like every hole takes more than 20 minutes because they're wandering around, peeking around the woods all the time. It's like, dude, like, let's go.
The worst guy than that or lady is the person who doesn't hit a good shot all day and is furious the entire time. Though they just had been a medalist at the U.S. Amateur and then came out here today and shot 118.
Yeah.
The getting mad and shit when you haven't hit a fairway all day long, you're livid the entire time.
The person, their gear is immaculate. They got the best gear. Yeah. They got blades. Yeah. They got all the things to suggest that if they're not a +5 handicap, then what are you doing? And they're a 25 handicap.
This is not their day. But the brother to that guy too is the tips guy, the guy who gives you tips that you don't even know him. And after the second one, he goes, if you just turned your wrist over a little bit, and you're going, didn't. What? You're like, I didn't come here for a lesson and better than you, so I'm not really sure we need to do this. But that guy, there's that guy. Oh, I like this annoying golf guy. Slow player is probably number one on the list.
Yeah,
slow player just doesn't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's always a roll of the dice.
So we've managed to talk a lot of non-hockey, and there's been a lot of hockey we should be talking about.
So we'll do that. First, need to give a shout out to our friends at Bet365, the largest sports betting platform globally. You can sign up today and get in on a huge range of markets by using the promo code OilyBonus. That's OilyBonus when you download the Bet365 app. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Before we get into the hockey talk, we are going to step aside for a quick break.
Grab a Burger Beat MS on August 22nd.
A continuation of your Bet365 discussion. Bet on the Oil to win the Cup.
Well, let's talk about some of the moves they've been making. So since the last time we were all together, because you haven't even been around for offer sheets.
I didn't get to talk about offer sheets.
Wanya and I did.
Oh, yeah. I talked about it a lot. The
two of us in Waz last week. Whew, did we ever chop it up? But what was your thought when the offer sheet news rolled out?
It was terrible news.
Is this Chiarelli's revenge? My first thought was.
Oh,
no one's done this in 10 years. I'm like, suddenly 2 in a day.
I had to think about it. It was an absolute gut punch. Yeah. Because I love Holloway so much so is I made you buy me a brand new Holloway jersey. Correct. That's how much I love him. Broberg was just starting to take a step, and then I'm like, you fucking bullies, St. Louis Blues. But then you kind of like unpack and remove kind of your emotion, look back, like we were right for the taking. Like it was the whole circumstance for those two to get offer sheeted was primo taglio.
I know for a fact because Mark Spector said it to us. They wouldn't do that if it was Holland as the GM, because him and Armstrong have a G code thing, and they were on a golf trip together when that happened.
It was like Armstrong's charity golf tournament or something.
Can you
the
believe
week
that?
before it happened?
Oh,
I'm like, conspiracy theory, and they're like, no, there's no way this offer sheet happens if he's the GM.
so then you're like, and then you kind of understand that we were right for the take, and then you're like, okay, well then how could we have mitigated that? Because we could have, we could have tied up all of our loose ends a month ago. So you're like, fuck. And then also Stan also is 2 weeks into the job.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude. So there's a lot of things going on with this. Two guys you really want. And also at the time before this happened, we're going to be really affordable.
The plan was 2 of them for $2 million total, not 6.9.
I think this part of this is what you alluded to, Jay. It's a victim of we didn't have a GM, right? We had a guy on his way out. Then we had a new guy who was doing the big pieces, but the smaller items were kind of just left till the new guy came. New guy came in, then we got swoop attacked.
Because even if you did him a 1.5, 1.8 or whatever, bro, but it looks like, and then now fast forward to the last 24 hours.
CC out, 3rd round pick out, 4th round pick out, Ty Emberson, Vasily Podkolzin, and perhaps more importantly, $3.25 million in cap space comes back.
Who are these people coming back? Are they have any consequence?
Vasily Podkolzin went 10th overall the year we picked Broberg. So 2 picks after Philip Broberg.
First round draft pick.
First round
Forward
top 10
or
pick.
D?
Forward. Left winger, but can play the right side. Scored 14 goals in his first season.
Will he make the team this year?
Has to go through waivers if he doesn't. So
no more Holloway?
Well, that's kind of...
It was almost kind of like a hedge, maybe.
Feels like maybe a hedge, but also like...
But now then they pulled off the CC trade, which is very fascinating because now with Kane on LTIR, and I also think the whole Kane situation kind of hamstrung because they didn't know where he was going to be, and that kind of maybe was holding back on them pulling trigger on when or what they were going to sign him for, and just opened, like I said, made us more ripe for the picking. Ripe for the picking or right for the picking?
I think for the picking.
Ripe for the picking?
Right, because you
like a
pick
fruit.
Okay. Overripe is, this is how Oilers fans are now. We are over-ripeners.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I got caught up in this ripe for the picking and then started talking about overripe. That was all shout out Ken Holland.
We miss Clefbaum is the gist of what we're saying. And
fair.
Broberg is an echo of Clefbaum. But even though Broberg left, what we really miss is Clefbaum.
But he's coming, and it's like, shit, we could have signed. So anyways, we've now, and we talked about the whole Kane thing, not having clarity there to make this situation happen or more so happen. So now we have the cap space. We have Kane on LTIR, and we've got CC out.
So there's 2 ways they can go about this now. If they match Broberg and Holloway with a roster of 14 forwards, 8 defensemen, and 2 goalies, the Oilers are $5.9 million over the cap.
Over.
Okay. So 5.1 million, Kane on LTIR. So all you
Josh
need to
Brown
do,
sent down.
And Josh Brown sent down, or Troy Stetcher sent down, or Ty Emberson sent down. One of those defensemen sent down.
But I think this Emberson,
But
that's some good work.
But for the sake of the cap argument here, you could match both as long as Kane stays on LTIR the whole year. You can make this work. Or we know how valuable it is to be accruing cap space throughout the year. Do you not match either? Do you?
But we've just blown up our decor. I'm not saying it's like a massive loss to CC, but he is a starter.
Yeah. Because then if you don't match either, your right side.
And he's a right
year,
shot starter.
Yeah. Your right side next year, if you don't match this thing, is now Bouchard, Stetcher, Emberson, Brown. But you'd be cap compliant and can accrue. So it makes it easier. And you'd have a 2nd and a 3rd round pick back.
Is Emberson thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
I think thumbs up. I think
from what I've been reading.
I think for the return, for us, that was a salary dump play, and we got a legit prospect.
We got a better defenseman than Cody Ceci back.
Really?
More upside. I think more upside for sure.
He had better numbers last year than Ceci playing on San Jose.
How much money did you make?
$950K.
That's what I'm talking
For how much
about.
longer?
I think just one more year here. Yeah, $950. Then he is a Group 6 UFA, so he could be an RFA, could be a UFA.
Extend him now.
Yeah, just don't risk it.
3 years, $3 million.
Yeah.
Here's what I know, Chalmers. We're in cap hell. So we got to start making off-grid offers to players. Maybe they're from countries you don't expect. Maybe they were in prison. I don't know. But we need to get some value contracts in here. What's that football movie, Adam Sandler? They're all in jail.
The Longest Yard?
That's the one. That's the kind of shit we need. Open tryout stuff, Chalmers. We got to get in under the cap.
We'll get that guy from Colorado.
We need 4 guys to play at league minimum.
Like the Chushkin?
Yeah. I didn't want to say
Is
that.
there anybody playing the K that's too risky that we could get in here in a 1 year 750?
So this all has to be done by tonight?
Tomorrow it's 7:29 a.m. Mountain.
What happens then?
That's when this offer sheets need to be
That's when the
matched.
7-day ticket.
So
done.
the circumstance to match is now there.
Yes.
What do they do? What do you think they do?
I think they match both. I know Gregor was speculating that this could mean still they don't match anyone and they're just going to take the cap.
Wait a minute. How's
flexibility of the
Gregor
picks.
speculating that? Isn't he on vacation and I'm filling in for him?
I don't know.
Who's he
but
saying
I
this
don't
to? Or in social?
on social.
Oh.
They could have moved CC at the draft or early in free agency if they wanted to. There was apparently a market for him. So moving CC is clearly not something they want to do. So by moving CC and clearing up the cap space, I think you're doing it because you want to retain both young players, keep them for the first year, and then next summer, if you don't like them, you trade them because you can't trade them for a year. But I think they're going to match both.
You're going to love Holloway. Holloway's only going to take another step. I was very disappointed at the prospect of losing him. And especially for $2 million. It's not a crazy, it's still an overpay, but it's not a crazy overpay. But at least now he's cost controlled for 2 years at a number that doesn't sink you. Broberg is the gamble. We don't want to be like, but our defensive depth is not that strong. So to lose him really sucks. And that's kind of what you're trading on against. Like the fact that it is an overpay, especially for 2 years, especially at $4 million. Like it's like $3 million more than we were going to pay him, or 2.5.
I think that's something that you just said there was, and you said it really fast, and I didn't know this, but there's a stipulation that if we sign both these offer sheets, we cannot trade that player for 1 year.
Calendar year.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm like, well,
Take him and trade him.
take him and trade him. Like, just take him. But when you say that, that makes this whole proposition a little more risky.
Yeah, because if Broberg
But
isn't good out of the gates, like again, Philip Broberg has shown us he can play top 4 minutes for 10 hockey games.
I know.
But Stanley Cup Finals, though.
Doesn't mean shit.
What do you mean doesn't mean shit?
It's
trial
10
by fire.
10
Trial by
hockey games
fire.
is 10 hockey games. He's shown us.
I believe the 10 Stanley Cup Finals.
Like
Is
that
way
is
a little
insane
more than-
pressure.
Yeah, man.
You
If he
gotta-
can do that, he can do Thursday night in March.
That's like a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
No,
That's right.
no.
And the fish rots from the head down. Think
so,
about that.
so should we expect for both of those players to have in the full course of a season have a difficult time because all we've seen is a short sample size out of them? Yeah, I think we should be prepared for that. I think we should be ready for that and not bring up
Holloway's
all
only
the
taking
past
steps.
bullshit of these contracts and we shouldn't have signed these options if they end up having a little bit of a downtime.
Chalmers, if there's anything we learned from Air Bud Golden Receiver,
Yeah, a
it's
lot.
that big players show up in big games.
Yeah.
Okay? And dogs are very coachable, but that's not for right now. Broberg being able to play 17 minutes a night in the Stanley Cup Finals, not every rookie D-man in the league can do that. And that's why his value super spiked like that. And they would have been happy to
But
lose
there's
him.
a difference between doing it for the 10 games and that little 2-week run, which is great.
That little 2-week run was the most exciting time in the past 10 years of my
And
life.
I'm not going to sit here and give Philip Broberg $9 million because he was good for 10 games. The risk is you need him to then do it for 30 to 60 games next season. He's got to be good. And like just doing it for 10 games in the cup final does not mean you can do it in the middle of November and then all the way to the middle of December and on and on and on.
Tyler, have you seen the movie Speed?
No.
Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves.
That's like your fourth movie reference that none of us have seen.
You've never seen Speed, 1994?
I think
You've
I have.
seen.
I think I've seen Speed.
The bus
Not
can't
Air Bud.
go below a certain speed, your Amtrak, or it'll explode. That's what the Oilers are right now. We can't slow it down. We got the 10 games out of Broberg. That's all we can't slow down. We can't look next
Ooh,
year.
a reference I get.
Let's make decisions right now.
I like that one.
Lock him in. I think you got to sign Broberg. I think you let Holloway go.
No.
It's rarer to find Broberg than it is a Holloway, man.
I've heard this.
True.
No, it's not.
Unlike my associate over here, I think that being able to eat up that kind of time in the Stanley Cup Finals is insane.
I think you do both. Like Broberg's the big overpay. Holloway at $2 million does not hurt. And we know he took a step last year and you know he's not done stepping. Here come the hot stepper.
Yes. I get that movie.
And then Philip Broberg, that's the wild card. I think he's there. But it's a 2-year bet at Nikita money.
Oh boy.
If he goes to St. Louis, we'll never
They were
know
the
if
same
he's good
number.
or bad because the Blues are terrible. We'll never know the answer.
Yeah. So if
I
you're
know.
a
I need
Evander
closure.
Kane right now-
They need to suck for us, not for them.
Yes.
if you're Evander Kane right now, you're pretty much just like, year off, boys. Paid year off.
Well, I don't know. He was
Well,
kind
it's
of
like, the only way
weird
this all
about it.
works is what he says if he keeps on LTIR all year. It's like, I'll be ready for the playoffs, boys.
Yeah.
Like,
See you there.
I have a feeling with all that because it was like, I'm going to be there for training camp. And no, actually, you know, he is a serious injury. All that doubt, I think, is while they're trying to get to the bottom of it, I think open up this window of opportunity. Because if they knew that for a fact, they would have just signed him. Because like those guys should have been like, you don't just keep waiting for the sake of waiting.
Yes, you do.
Do you? Unless
Yeah.
they're trying to pin them down for like screw them for money.
Yeah, that's what they were
Knowing
trying-
that they are in prime offer sheet territory.
But offer sheets never happen. So to sit there and be scared of it, why would you be scared of it?
well,
There's
they
been
do
two in the
now.
last 10 years.
They do now.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, they did it with Ryan McLeod, right? They made him come wait until camp, and then they squeezed him and they signed him.
but McLeod doesn't have the upside of either of those two.
There are 8 RFAs still on the market right now with more upside than either one of them.
Okay, go through them.
Lucas Raymond, Seth Jarvis, Thomas Harley, Moritz Sider, Cole Perfetti.
Yeah, okay.
Matt
Mort
Beniers,
Sider,
Thomas Mercer, Cole
okay.
Sillinger.
that
So
guy.
let's talk about this. Are these similar
good.
offer sheet situations? What would you have to offer sheet Mo Sider for?
$12 million.
Okay,
probably.
there you go. What about Lucas Raymond?
Probably $8 million.
There you go. This is a 2 and a 4.
I'm just saying there are, like, the idea that the Oilers were making some mistake by sitting around not signing their RFAs. No one signs their RFAs yet. Teams wait because you can squeeze them because none of them have ARB rights.
Who makes a double offer sheet? A galaxy brained idiot.
but I think the cheap ones should have been done.
So
You're talking about the
those are
highest-
2 good offer sheets. Like, I'm
they-
mad at you, Blues.
mad at
you.
him and super impressed.
It's got Chiarelli written all over it.
Oh yeah,
Charles.
it's Trelly there, Holland golfing with
Yeah.
with Armstrong.
Do it, Armstrong. He says, "What do I care? I don't work there anymore."
He's probably like, you know what you should do? They're just golfing. Like,
You know what I'd be
let's see
worried
what kind
about?
of shit we
Yeah.
can cause up in the back nine.
You know
here.
what I'd be worried
Like,
about if I was them now that I'm gone? This. And then he just does it.
And this is why the old boys keep getting jobs, eh? All their connections.
It's because they put up the wall, the offer sheet wall.
It was nice, though, with these offer sheets to get to remember Dustin Penner fondly. And
Yeah.
the Thomas Vanek one that never was. But old Pancakes, God, that was a great contract.
So, like in the past 5 offer sheets, have the Oilers not been on each
They're
one? Like,
always involved. No, Carolina
there
and
was-
Montreal fight
There
each
was
other.
Aho, and then they matched. It was Cochran and Niemi, and they let him go
Okay.
to Carolina. Who else has been offer
And
sheeted?
Oilers.
And then it was Oilers.
Well,
for-
no, there was like Ryan O'Reilly and like shit like that.
So the O'Reilly one, I've told this story a couple times now, but remember that was hilarious because it was right after, it was during the season, and then it was the lockout shortened year, right? So they came back in February or in January, and O'Reilly wasn't signed, and the Flames offer sheeted him for 2 years, $10 million. So they would have had to give up, I think it was like a first and a third to Colorado for the compensation, but to get him on the NHL roster since the season had started, they would have had to put him through waivers first. So if Colorado wouldn't have matched, Calgary would have had to give Colorado a first and a third round pick. They would have put him on waivers. And I think it was Columbus would have just been like, free player.
Why would they do that?
Because Jay Feaster didn't. That's why Jay Feaster got fired, or part of the reason, because he didn't know the rules. So it would have been like.
This is why they took down Cap Friendly, because most of them really don't know.
Yeah.
They're just going to a couple websites, checking a couple things.
Before O'Reilly, Shea Weber had the 14-year, $110 million offer sheet from Philly that he signed. Nashville matched it.
Oh, yeah.
Before that, Stan Bowman was targeted again when Nick Hjalmarsson was offer sheeted by the San Jose Sharks. What would be the plural of that? Offer sheet?
Offer sheeted.
Offer shat.
Offer shot.
Yeah.
Offer shot. He was offer shot. And Stan Bowman matched the one to Hjalmarsson, which is not quite the same because I think Hjalmarsson was a bit more established, but similar.
You're not respecting the H in his name.
Hjalmarsson. Hjalmarsson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chris Chalmerson.
Before that, it was actually the Blues and Canucks going back to back in the span of 7 days when the the Canucks offer sheeted David Backes, 3 years, $7.5 million. The Blues matched it. Then on the day they matched it, they offer sheeted Steve Bernier from the Canucks. And then Vancouver
Tit
just
for
matched
tat,
it.
Charles. Tit for tat.
Yeah.
So there is no one this year that the Oilers could target from the Blues. But next year,
You're right. They should offer sheet Mo Sider.
who?
The Oil.
I don't think they could afford that.
Did you read that the silence around Sidney Crosby is deafening in Pittsburgh? They
Who said that?
DFO. Deafening.
What am I not hearing?
They haven't signed him.
Oh,
They'll get it done. It's like the dry settle thing.
Deafening.
Offer sheet him.
You're the one who got me all thinking of Sidney Crosby coming
No,
down.
he's a free agent, so you don't have to offer sheet him.
You just sign him. How much is he a year?
1 million.
8.7. 8.7. That's it. That's all he gets paid.
Do you want the return on the Line A deal?
Ooh.
Let me guess.
Were you right with Josh Anderson?
No.
Is it bad?
Let me guess. Josh
Surprising.
Harris.
Jordan Harris, Chalmers. You can read the computer in front of me.
Jordan.
So it's Line A for Jordan Harris, 24-year-old, 5'11" defenseman, and Montreal's getting a second for taking his
Yeah,
contract.
it's a salary dump. Yeah.
Salary
How
down.
much does Line A make?
8.5.
Yeah.
Shite.
Well, like Montreal's an interesting team, right? Like they're going to be exciting again. They are exciting right now.
So they get Carey Price back, and they're rolling Chalmers.
Where's Askarov going to go? Huh?
Montreal.
Huh? Well, exactly. That's
Take
why I
that
said
second
it.
round pick. Go get Askarov.
Where's he playing now?
When you like to know.
Nobody wants out.
Well, hey, not that much.
Yeah, Montreal actually looks half decent when you look at this on paper.
It's kind of they're percolating.
Yeah,
Is Wi-Fi going to play for them this year? That's my
know.
guy.
Why? Because he bought his dad. What did he buy him? A Maserati? Didn't Daily Faceoff post this today?
Did they?
I don't know. Maybe.
Wi-Fi bought his dad a Moz. Aren't there
some
two of
sort
them
of
now?
fancy car.
There's two of them now. They're brothers.
Yep. Same organization.
Wi-Fi and then the neighbor's
and
Wi-Fi.
Lo-Fi.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Zerkjaj or whatever his name is.
Arbor Jackai.
That's the one. They call him Wi-Fi because his name looks like a Wi-Fi password.
It's a very long.
It's funny, man. That's
really good.
That's a really
That's
good
one of the
nickname.
better nicknames
That
in
is
sports.
that's HG or Habs TV or whatever the fuck. That's a funny
Very
ass
clever.
name.
All right, before we wrap up the podcast, got to give some love to our friends over at Wilhauk Beef Jerky, Alberta's best tasting beef jerky. Check them out online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. 3 locations, 3 spots in the Edmonton area. If you want to load up on it, there's Leduc, there's Spruce Grove, and of course, there's the kiosk in West Edmonton Mall, willhawkbeefjerky.com. Get your jerky on. Okay.
We were talking about Will Hawk in the car, how we wish we had it on the highway. Anyways, carry on.
That's it. You just wanted Wilhauk?
Yeah. Great highway snack.
Fair enough. What do you think happens? What do you think Stan Bowman does? Give me your final take on it.
The timing of the CC move, it's a powerful signal they're matching.
Both?
Yes.
Keep the whole squad, run it back. And you're committing to basically not being able to do anything at the deadline.
Well, then you have to move some other contract out. So we've now got this crazy stable of like fringe defensemen.
Stetcher, Emberson, Brown, Carrick.
Yes, you're hoping one of them makes a step.
Yeah.
And then you can move or bury some of that money. And then maybe that's what makes a Kulak expendable.
Yeah, maybe.
You're trying to see like, cause that's 2.75.
Yeah.
And maybe you use that space at the deadline.
Yeah, it'd be tough still, but yeah.
Tyler, what was that guy you told us about who was out of the league for like 12 years and he threw in a Golden Corral parking lot?
Oh, Matt Bush.
That's what we need.
Need to find a guy who
You
just
hear the
got out
story,
of prison.
Jay?
No.
Ball player? Fill Jay in. This is the profile of how we fill the gaps.
Matt Bush went first overall as a shortstop to the San Diego Padres in 04.
04.
04. Flash forward to 2012. He has still never played in the majors, has been arrested for a handful of things, beating up a high schooler with a golf club while screaming, "I'm Matt fucking Bush."
He brought it on himself. Continue.
Yeah. 3 DUIs.
Come on. Those are all political. Go
One
on.
where he rode over a motorcyclist's head. But the motorcyclist just happened to be wearing a good enough helmet that he stood up, got the license plate number, and reported it.
That can happen to anybody. Keep talking.
Wow.
There's a turnaround.
So
in
on the
story.
third DUI, he goes to jail.
Okay.
Goes to jail for whatever it was, 7 months. Comes out of jail on a work release program.
montage gets
And-
jacked.
The only place he can go is his house and a Golden Corral where he's a line cook job. Buffet. The Texas Rangers call him and are like, "Can you still throw hard?" And
Now,
he was like,
why though? Why would the Texas Rangers call him after 12 years?
Someone was keeping tabs.
"Yeah,
Montage.
Powerful scouting team.
They go,
Just
"You
you
can't
wait."
hit, but can you still throw hard?" He goes, "Yes, I can still throw hard." They go, "We want to turn you into a pitcher." And he says, "Alrighty-o. Well, the only place I can go is the Golden Corral in my house." And they said, "That's fine. We'll come to you."
They said, "Can you come fly to try out
Yeah.
for us?" And he said, "I can't leave the Golden Corral parking lot." So they came to him and he threw for them at the Golden Corral.
And they signed him. And that next spring, he was back in the majors.
And then he
Or
had a
was making his
9-year
major
career.
league debut 13 years after being drafted first overall and going to jail
And
Drafted first overall.
as a shortstop.
but he had a 9-year career after that.
Yeah.
9 years.
Nine
His first
after
appearance,
13.
he went toe to toe with the Jays. Went Donaldson, Batista, Encarnacion, got them all out.
How much did he make in those 9 years?
This is what we need, though, Jay. We need a guy like this at the Golden Corral. It's like, can you still shoot right, Mr. Defenseman? Yes. I've been in Gitmo.
Somebody who did all that clearly had some stuff going on in his head.
Yeah.
How did they keep him under wraps for 9 years?
This is what.
What's the whole Josh Hamilton situation?
But how many other players are out there?
Because they were like, we've done it.
They love second chances.
Yeah.
They're like,
and he was
renowned-
only ever allowed to have $20 cash. He wasn't allowed any credit cards or anything.
They're renowned for their ability to rehab players, right,
Yeah.
Tyler?
He signed a bunch of deals. His most expensive one was 1.8 mil with the Brewers.
Wow.
Isn't that a wild story?
So he ended up making, he got a $3 million signing bonus back in 2004 for going first overall, highest signing bonus ever given out to a pick at the time.
Well worth it.
And then, he probably made himself like $4 million in his career.
The lesson to be learned from this, if you want to get in the MLB, where do you work?
Golden Corral.
That's it.
And if the Texas Rangers call you asking if you throw hard, you say yes.
You always say yes.
You say I sure can.
Whose radar was he on and how? This is what I don't understand about this entire
Well,
story.
when you're the first overall, I guess.
But do they just
And
like,
he was
okay,
probably known for having an absolute weapon for an arm.
Yeah.
it's day 8 of our meetings. Does anybody have any draft picks from the last 20 years that are currently federally incarcerated that are getting out shortly?
If you're seeing, imagine all the other people that you're
This
looking
is
at.
it.
It's like-
Who are like, oh, it turns out I have nothing.
Well, I tried.
Well, you know what?
okay, guys.
I guess I lost it.
Can you imagine they come out to the Golden Corral and he's like 50 Cent throwing out a first pitch and just wings it wide. He's like, you know what? I don't have it. Just goes back in.
Just like a scout calls the general manager and just first thing he said, I'll pack my stuff. I'll have the office cleaned out on Monday.
Hold the phone. I want to hear the ball sizzle in the air. Zzz. Yeah, he don't have it.
Like these aren't funny because they're crimes and they're victims, but like just reading his Wikipedia, Bush was designated for assignment February 5th, 2009. Shortly afterward, it was learned Bush allegedly intoxicated in a high school parking lot when he assaulted 2 freshman lacrosse players. What are you even doing? You're like, oh, well, Padres don't want me anymore. I'm going to go to this high school parking lot and get drunk.
You know who sells the best?
Yeah.
Yeah, the lacrosse team.
He was arrested at a party on March 30th because he reportedly threw a baseball at a woman's head.
Oh my God.
But he missed. He clearly got the juice.
Yeah, because see, if I'm Texas
the Rangers saw that,
if I'm the Rangers and I see that, I'm like, well, he didn't even hit this leading the head.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
the
number one,
ball
kick
was
my
embedded
ass.
a foot and a half in the wall, though.
Just hold on. Can you go back to the part where he missed a lady in the head?
I swear that lady calls him up. I swear he threw a ball, but he must have had 85 miles per hour on the gas.
Her dad scout for the Rangers.
Oh my
I
God.
went to this party
You should
night.
have seen
Matt
the
Bush
curve
tried
on
to
it.
throw a ball
It
at
was
me.
coming right at me, and then just at the last minute.
He really had some movement on that thing.
It's a bad party trick.
Yeah. All right.
That's the kind of players we need to find if we want to be in the salary cap, under the cap next year. That's all I'm saying.
I'd stay away from criminals.
Probably
Don't want to mess with the room. Although trading away Cody Cece's probably messing with the room.
Oh, it's so funny that comes out yesterday about how they're BF. Is it like, and he actually
BFF?
well, Dry and CC are supposed to be super tight.
BFFs.
And I guess, well, allegedly Dry stopped a trade at the deadline for him,
Oh, no.
Really?
which cost us the cup.
Maybe.
Why not? Why not say that?
Is this one called Dryside cost us the cup? Jay Downton?
How much do we think?
You can spin it that way.
How much do we think the McDavid wedding cost?
$1 million.
Oh,
More? Yeah, I think it would have been more.
buddy.
How much?
And I don't.
4 to 5
Hold on.
million.
No.
I bet you.
Private island.
Yeah, but it's
5 parties. 7 dresses.
we
or
worked it
whatever.
out.
Yeah,
It's like-
7 looks.
It's like 30 grand a night.
And Marshmallow played, or whoever the DJ
This couldn't have
group
been all in
was.
one day.
And everyone got booed. Oh yeah, and because
It was over the course of the weekend.
it was, and was that Sushi by Vin, that Edmonton guy?
The guy who does the naked lady sushi?
I don't know if he does that, but I know
Yeah,
he does
that's Sushi by
at-home
Vin.
I
sushi.
think you can for a price.
They do that at events. They bring a lady out.
Oh, like that. Okay, I can't remember. Yeah, okay. I want to say
Not
2.5 to
confirm
3 million.
or deny.
Canadian.
But like I watch that and it's like, okay, here's
because remember they're paying for everything. Everyone's gonna fly in. They fly in and they boat in those fancy boats, and then the food is next fucking level. The cocktails are next level. Everything is top cheese. Like every little like the
ice cubes went to Yale.
Yeah, exactly. The invitations. Her dress was probably $500,000.
Do you think they bought everybody their clothes?
Her main dress was probably $500,000
at the wedding.
Well, because like they wanted these people to all look the exact same, right? Like at the party, it was like everybody in black, and this thing, everybody like. If you want to ensure that,
they're not buying all that gear.
No,
the average net worth of an attendee at the McDavid weddings in the millions.
No, but it's not in the sake of like the person not being able to afford their own black clothes. It's like if you have. What I thought was if you were going to make sure that you had the pictures that you wanted with everybody dressed up in the exact same stuff, the exact same colors, you would seemingly get everybody's sizes and have clothing ready for them.
Maybe the bridal party, but I can't see the guests getting clothes.
How
you say you have to wear
married.
taupe.
None of you guys here are married, and that's fine. The day of your wedding is a goddamn whirlwind. You can't, it's like, it seemed like they did like a week's worth of stuff. This couldn't have been just over one day.
No, it was like over a handful of days. Yeah.
Good Lord.
It was over 3 days?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pre-party, rehearsal.
Day of, and then next day.
Oh, yeah.
So was the DJ the night of the wedding?
Yeah.
And they flew them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flew everyone in. It's on an island.
Did they fly everybody in?
I feel like there was a float plane aspect.
Yeah, but they
this.
weren't like flying somebody from Chicago all the way to.
Because who's the DJ? They're like popular or they're
Loud Luxury. It's the NHL's official DJ. I think they're in Toronto.
That's on brand.
Okay, interesting.
I saw them do the NHL awards this year in Vegas. It was the most awkward thing I've ever been a part of in my life. Anyways, but yeah, they're like Toronto based.
Yeah, okay. So they flew in from Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was expensive. Mondo. It had to be in the millions. It had to be.
What do you think Vogue Australia paid for the photos?
Vogue Australia, though. Like, why not just Vogue? Why is it Vogue Australia?
Because it's part of a larger game of chess.
Is it?
It's like, we'll put Connor McDavid's wedding on Vogue Australia, but you're not allowed to tell anybody Tom Brady killed all those nuns. You know what I mean? Like it's a Wasserman's involved and they're pulling levers and using favors. To me, Vogue Australia has no bearing on their wedding whatsoever. Why is
I guess
Vogue Canada, where there's budget on some level, I guess, because they would have had to pay. They're not putting it in Vogue Australia for free.
Yeah. So I guess they probably netted out, maybe costing $1 million. Woof. Because it was like, I kind of think the rights to that are expensive.
What is it worth for Connor to have silence about the wedding? That's how much he paid.
Ooh.
It's like, I don't want to hear about it. How much do I have to hear about it? 1.4 million Canadian, Connor. Not one more word said about it.
It was
him on Zach Hyman's shoulders is very funny.
Yeah, you see because Lauren's doing releasing some of the, so you see a little bit of Connor and like just the candid, like fully deployed Connor is very nice.
I would be so worried Connor McDavid's on someone's shoulders, not on Zach Hyman's shoulders. Those are muscular and he will not drop them.
Yeah, no, he chose
Cam McDavid, I'm tripping.
I don't know if this is something or nothing. The Oilers have removed both Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg from their roster on NHL.com.
It's because
Holloway was there this morning.
No,
I was doing my prep for the show because I knew he was my next player grade, and I do that by looking at the roster and seeing which number's next on my list.
What?
So it could be nothing. Could just be a little thing. Maybe they're getting set to match, and I don't know. They're updating the player profiles. Who knows?
So let's just go through it again. I say they're going to match both. Tyler?
I'm saying both.
JR?
Well, I'm hoping they match both.
But what do you think is going to happen? I know you heart and brain. Let's go with the brain.
So they've just created the circumstance to be able to match.
Yeah.
So they're matching.
Okay. Wanya?
I just think they're going to match Broberg. I think Holloway's gone.
Okay.
Yep.
Should be an interesting night.
Unlike my associate Tyler, who thinks that rookies who can play 17 minutes in the Cup Finals grow on trees, I don't subscribe. Like Peacock Plus, I don't subscribe.
It is a bad one.
That's tough.
It's not great.
It's not great. It's a lot.
So just before we end, I know we need to go.
We do?
Don't we? Did you I think they'll use started.
He's been
the
trying to
last
end this for
segment with,
15 minutes.
What? How do we like Big Brother?
Oh, I'm fully caught up.
So I did last night.
I went to bed early last night. I got up early and I got caught
I
up.
did not see last night's episode, so I don't know who the HOH is, but I'm all caught up on evictions. Poor Cedric. Never volunteered
Poor
to go on the
Cedric.
block.
No, pawns go home.
But
Well,
he
but
was-
a little arrogant, but like, yeah, he screwed up. Like that was a mistake.
Yeah. I don't like Quinn, so I like seeing his moves backfire. I think that's very funny.
Yeah.
Chemo and T-Core.
Chemo and T-Core. Hello.
Chemo and T-Core.
How about
What are these names?
I like the kind of
Belarusi and DJ.
They are as interesting as their names. They are
Chemo and T-Core.
I loved what they did.
Yeah, but they were kind of like non-eventy to start, but for them to get together and have that power to pull off what they pulled off was fucking awesome.
This feels like the
Shout out to them.
first season of Big Brother in a long time where everyone is pretty dialed into actually playing the game. No one's there for
Yeah,
a
you
summer
get out like
vacation.
if Cedric said you get him out.
Let's be honest, except for Cam.
Yeah, Cam's chilling.
What is Cam doing?
Yeah, he's
He's
chilling.
just having a summer in the backyard and working out, looking great.
Those are the guys who can go the
But,
distance
okay,
sometimes.
Timu and T-Core, are they the St. Louis Blues?
they read it.
They saw like a little bit of a weakness in the armor.
Did they get together?
And they decided to take the power back.
Did they get together because they both agree they have the worst names in Big Brother history? And they're like, we might as well team up and see this through.
I love Kimu.
But
He's
but
hilarious.
think about all the big moves, and we got to really unpack it. But my sense is, as I think of some of them through, all are a result of Quinn divulging too much information. Everything is connected to that.
Hey, the guy lost America's vote for a reason.
Well, now he's
I don't
showing his.
hate him,
He
but
came off
I
as
don't like
way
him.
too cocky.
Yeah.
Now
Oh, yeah.
he's been humbled a little bit.
Big time. And Cedric's been humbled a little bit. And I mean, there's clearly one person who's winning every single challenge there is. And like, it's going to be
We've got like an
interesting to see-
evil dick situation where Tucker's not
That's-
evil, but like
You don't call a guy out in week 3 when he doesn't do your move in front of everybody because up till week 6, you don't want to make any waves.
No.
And Angela, her doing it is just like, I don't think she's as knowledgeable about the game. She's already on the other side. But to see him do it, and in that moment, I was just like, oh, he's writing his death
done.
warrant. And that John guy and Evil Dick and Dr. Will are the only 3 players I've ever seen who ultimately signed their own death warrants and continue to double down on it and won the game.
Dr. Will is
And you were
one of
just
one.
like, and Tucker has a lot of that in him.
The great thing, and
he has really good relationships. Like people
Great
want to help
relationships.
him.
I personally love the guy. I think he's great.
the other thing that's helped them, sometimes the twists and the gimmicks they do for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season are like cringy and they kind of ruin the game. That battle, that AI arena battle right before eviction is electric because it stops you. The traditional backdoor was getting so boring because everyone could see it coming and it would lead to just good players getting out because they couldn't play in the veto and there's nothing they could do about it. And now it's like, oh man, if you want to get Tucker out, like you need to have people up next to him that'll beat him twice. That's the only reason Cedric went up is because they're like, we need you to be up there so you can beat Tucker, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
It's wild. I love that twist.
It's great. I'm really.
And Brooklyn looks like Brooklyn.
What an idiot.
Yeah, dumb move.
What's that guy's name? East Timor and who?
T-Core and Kimu.
These can't be real people.
These are real people.
Chemo and T-Core.
That's what the AI spat out for funny names to keep America's sweethearts engaged.
Everybody, you're right. Everybody's invested. Everybody's playing. I don't think they're showing a lot of people. Like they're definitely not showing all of Leah, Jacob, or Cam's games.
Well, Jacob's kind of a non-event.
Jacob's the video guy with the mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
I
kind of a
forgot about him,
non-event.
eh?
Like,
so he's, but he's, yeah, he's.
but
kind
he's
of an event.
interesting.
But he's kind of interesting.
But he's done nothing.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like I was like, oh, I'm just gonna throw this comp. I'm like
I cannot.
Yeah, like you're going to
a
win
comp
anyways.
thrower who's never gonna win a comp isn't a comp thrower.
So you know what the head of household?
I don't know who won.
No, I'm not gonna tell you who won, but you know what the
Oh yeah, they
the
show at
competition
the
is.
end.
It's the wall, right?
Okay, so you can kind of piece
So you know
together.
the type of people that perform well in that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
always a certain
yeah.
Well, yeah.
height and
There's
I'm
one
just-
person. There's one person you're forgetting all of this. I can't believe you talked about Big Brother and haven't brought up.
Miss
How's
Julie?
Julie Chen Moonves looking?
Miss
this year?
Julie's great.
And how is she doing?
Yeah,
How's
she's
it going? How's she doing?
Her interactions with the house guests are really good these days.
Yeah.
Like in just every way, shape, or form. Everybody telling her she looks amazing. I was annoyed by it. I'm always like,
No,
guys,
that's how you
stop
pay
it.
tribute to the
but
queen.
Here, one person didn't do it like last time when they came in to vote. And I was like,
Loser.
you rude son of a bitch. You tell Miss Julie she looks good. So, yeah, no,
She doesn't age.
She's she's great.
When Les was under fire, she repped her man.
Yeah.
Added it to
down.
her name.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I know they can see her obviously when they're in the living room, but I always just get such a kick out of them being in the DR.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at like a blank wall.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you look great, Julie, while they just stare into the
They
abyss.
must be able to see her.
They can't see her in the DR. They
you
just see
sure?
a camera.
They just say it out of respect.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah.
see it, it's like, you're great tonight, Julie. And they're staring into the two-way mirror.
I
She
believe
does look great.
that if your work day after this doesn't have too many things left, I think that getting home and getting that
Yeah, I know.
Big Brother into you is gonna you're gonna really like
This
it.
isn't live.
You're gonna
Chalmers.
love it.
Yep. I will watch it while I'm eating dinner tonight.
It's been a pleasure because I was always of the mind of like, well, the minute you get Tucker out, like the season's just gonna flatten out.
Yeah.
And yes, Tucker's still in there, but like the fact that the people I thought would just keep the game flat flipped it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Lastly, anybody turning on their guide on a Sunday, flipping through the channels and see NFL football on right now and get just a little bit too excited?
I do get pretty excited.
It's pretty good. We are 2 weeks away from real football.
Can I get your takes on a couple of things, Chalmers?
Yes.
Caleb Williams, fact or fiction?
Looks unbelievable.
Interesting.
He looks fantastic. He had, I think, a 12-yard score yesterday where he was in the pocket, he checked his two reads.
Yeah.
He eluded the onrush.
Yeah.
He did a side turn and then just right to the end zone.
Did you hear that this guy, Jay, asked the NFL if they could pay his holding company instead of him personally so he wouldn't have to pay personal tax?
I respect
You
that.
think you're the first NFL player to think of this, Caleb? You fuck.
No, he looks great. And
Why is my boy CD Lamb getting disrespected by Jerry Jones?
because
That's
he
all
didn't
theater.
disrespect him. So what he said was,
I mean, no rush to sign, you bum.
that's not what he said. He didn't have the bum. He did say we are no rush with CD. CD Lamb then tweets out LOL with a smiley cry face. Next day, Jerry Jones comes out and in ultimate Jerry Jones fashion, and I totally understand what he's saying. He's like, listen, I don't mean we don't have urgency for CD to be on our team. We don't have urgency because we're not playing him all preseason. He knows that. We know that. That gives, in our minds, at that time, 5 more weeks for us to do this. That in my mind, in my business mind, when I've got a million other things to do, that's not urgency. But it was that one little clip that gets, but here, one thing I can tell you about Jerry Jones, as long as people are talking about him preseason, he's winning. That's all he cares about.
Fair.
Yeah. So
Those are my two questions. That's all I
Caleb
know.
Williams is going to be good. He got a rookie wide receiver with him too. He's going to be really good.
What's up with Cleveland wanting a new stadium when they haven't seen any playoff games in their old stadium since it was out? What's up with that? I know that.
They haven't played a home playoff game?
Not in the stadium that they're wanting to retire. They got a new stadium. The old one's broken.
They also went
Well, they
like
used to call
36
well,
and
they
0
did. They
over
have
2-3 years.
there's a moniker for that stadium called the Mistake by the Lake.
Go on.
Maybe because it rhymes. That's all I got.
None of those wins.
That's all I got.
The notion by the ocean.
Hey guys,
Mistake
I don't
by
know
the
if we
lake.
should put this thing down by the lake. That rhymes with mistake. Bop, 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 bop. Build the arena.
No, we're gonna lean into that. And every game's gonna be a mistake.
Build it.
Oh,
For the other team.
it's now the leaning. It's like the leaning tower.
All I know
Like-
is Jameis Winston is my QB1. That guy is the fucking most hilarious, coolest, amazing NFLer to ever
the only
put on the helmet.
QB1 team he is the QB1 of is the mic'd up team.
Yeah.
He's good, Mike.
I don't
Dobbs.
know.
Still
if
have
he's-
to root for Deshaun Watson next year.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, Jameis Winston is my quarterback.
So is Caleb Williams going to be one of them ones, Chalmers? Is he going to be a great quarterback in NFL history, you think?
You can definitely say that after 2 preseason games.
Yeah?
No.
no.
Oh,
If I was
predict.
if I was to
know,
guess,
I
know.
yes.
No, I need you to back it up with real fact. Of
Okay.
course, I'd like you to guess.
He needs to go on the radio soon. He
Yeah,
might get
tell me
asked
what
this
I
in 5
think.
questions.
I'll be like, you won't even believe this guy. He's
believe-
legit.
He'll have a pretty average first year because getting thrown into the fire of the worst team of the league is never good for anybody.
I thought the
But they
Browns were
weren't the worst. They got
Browns
the
have
pick
been the
from
worst
the
for a while.
Panthers.
Really?
Pretty bad. But if you look on any place where people are saying it, Peyton Manning threw more interceptions than any other quarterback as a rookie. And so
People love
give
throwing
the
that
guy a
out.
year. People love throwing it out. And it's just like all that is like a way of saying, let the guy have a year in this special position. Because you see this guy Jordan Love now backing up Aaron Rodgers, gets drafted and Aaron Rodgers is still in his prime. Crazy. Huge hoopla. Aaron Rodgers leaves. Jordan Love right now, after 1 year of full football, is the highest paid quarterback in the league.
But was he that good last
He
year?
was I think the second best quarterback behind Patrick Mahomes for the last 6 weeks of the season last year.
So you should make more than
and took him
6 good weeks gets you a lot of money.
Took him to the play.
Not Phil Broberg.
Yeah, not in the NHL.
Do you know what 32 is?
The number of quarterbacks in the NFL.
Number of thoughts in
32.
Elliot Friedman's
You know how
head.
many are good? 14, I would say.
Fair.
So, yeah, if you show you're good for 6 games and take a team to the playoffs that shouldn't have been, and you just look the way he looks, like an absolute specimen, people are going to take a chance on you.
All right. Good podcast, guys. Back on Thursday, everybody?
Back on Thursday.
Sure.
That was non-committal. You're in?
Yeah, I'm in.
BM should be back. He's stuck in Toronto. So hopefully safe travels, Baggedmilk. Everyone enjoy your week. We'll be back on Thursday.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.